Remember in my Mad Bull 34 review when I said it was manga entertainment's holy trinity of crap? Well, today we're going to be looking at the second of this unholy triumvirate, the much maligned and notorious Angel Cop. There's a sort of minor cult that surrounds this particular OVA. Clips of Angel Cop have been shown around convention panels and floating around internet sites for years, becoming a sort of symbol for laughably awful dubs. Along with MD Geist, Angel Cop has become a sort of poster child for bad 90s anime. And judging by the many clips that you can easily find by a light YouTube search, it'd be easy to say that this show deserves that title. But here's the thing. Most people only know this show by those clips. It'd be like calling Manos the Hands of Fate the worst movie of all time if you only saw a highlight reel of it on MST3K. Don't get me wrong here. Angel Cop is not as bad as the legends make it out to be, but it still sucks like it's trying to win a prize. In fact, it sucks in a way that those same clips leave out. So prepare for an education, because this is Angel Cop. We begin with your prototypical opening narration, chiming in with phoned-in exposition that explains that Japan has become the global economic leader, insert your own US credit rating joke here, and as such, the country has become a target for communist extremists in the mid-90s. Yeah, remember that back in 95? Japan became an economic juggernaut, communist terrorists tried to blow it back to the Stone Age, and O.J. Simpson was found not guilty. Crazy times.
To combat them, the committee recommended the establishment of a new elite force. It was to have wide-ranging powers, and its agents would act as the cutting edge against terrorism. In fact, they would become judge, jury, and executioner.
Must resist! Judge Dredd reference! We begin the story proper with a missile attack on the American embassy in Japan. A team is dispatched to investigate the site, whose members look like they take eyebrow styling tips from Amuro of Fooly Cooly. Sweet buttery Jesus, Andy Rooney would look at them with envy.
Come on, give it back. I haven't got all day.
My God, he really is one of those special security agents I heard the rumors about. I can't believe they're for real. They're licensed to kill.
And apparently their dress code calls for aviator jackets with no undershirts, helmets they don't even bother buckling on, and douche sunglasses. The only way he could be more obvious is if he had a neon sign hovering over him saying, "I am a complete tool." We see Adam Carolla here, following up on a lead as to who may have set us up the bomb. How he was able to divine their location, I don't know, but when has logic ever stopped anything on this show? You gotta love the fact that he goes in armed with nothing more than a revolver and his bare chest exposed, as if he's daring people to blow it open like a watermelon at a Gallagher show.
Who's supplying you with all this stuff?
Go to hell. I ain't saying.
Die, you imperialist vermin!
2 body shots to disable, 2 headshots to kill. Textbook stuff. Whoever pulled this little number's a real pro. And a hardened killer.
Don't look so surprised. I'm your fucking backup.
Ladies and gentlemen, the only reason why anyone remembers Angel Cop.
Let me introduce myself. The name's Angel, but don't let that fool you. I can be a bitch when I want to.
Which is all the time. Thankfully, or not, depending on how you look at it, Angel Cop does have its titular angel. Barely. For an eponymous character, she really doesn't have that many scenes. If I were to ballpark it, I'd say that she has about an hour's total screen time, and that's out of 3 hours. That may be a virtue, however, because Sharon Holm, the voice actress who plays Angel, may be the most uncomfortable and wooden voice actress I've heard in quite some time.
I've heard some bullshit in my time, mister, but yours is the best.
You've just been brainwashed by the authorities.
Shut the fuck up, you self-righteous, moralizing commie scumbag. You make me sick. You think that anyone who doesn't agree with you must be brainwashed. You can't imagine that anyone could actually choose to hold a different point of view from your own. Well, let me tell you, it ain't necessarily the case. Oh, and another thing, unless you want a .45 caliber lobotomy real bad, I suggest you tell your friend over there to put that fucking knife down.
Huh? Drop it now!
Also, the show lapses from passable animation to downright hack job and back in the course of a single cut. Either Alec Baldwin here is on the prow of a ship, or they simply refuse to animate a simple walk cycle. And yes, I am aware that guy kinda looks like that police chief in Mad Bull 34, but we finally sealed that beast away in his sepulcher. Do we really want to open that back up again? Anywho's, the communist terrorists managed to hijack a helicopter and take some hostages in an extradition transfer gone wrong. Apparently, Alec Baldwin knew about the planned hijacking beforehand and opted to let them commit the act in the belief that the hijacked helicopter would lead them right toward their hideout.
Unfortunately, those are the only details we have about Tachihara at the moment. Undoubtedly, this has been a significant victory for the authorities of both nations in their fight against
Yes, he let a bomb go off in an airport filled with thousands of people so he could capture a terrorist to stop them from bombing people. I think my brain just shat itself. The terrorists ditch the helicopter and continue via van, but Bitch Tits and Adam Carolla have them in their sights. Unfortunately, a leather jacket with no shirt doesn't provide much protection against a motorcycle crash, as Gary Busey can attest, so Adam goes down for the count.
Angel, can you go on?
Yeah,
Forget about me. You get after him.
no problem.
Wow. Wanna go ahead and jam your thumb in his bullet wounds while you're at it? What the fuck is Bitch Tits' problem here? Did her dad dig up the corpse of her cat and fuck it right in front of her on her birthday? Bitch Tits manages to catch up with the van, but it has since been blown apart and all but one of the terrorists has been killed. After further investigating, she comes across what looks like Brian May from Queen disappearing into thin air, and one of the terrorists strung up and hanged.
So he killed all of them, including the girl. Who is he?
Damn it! I wanted to be the one who murders them! Arrest them! This is where we end our first episode, and normally I don't talk about opening or closing credit sequences, but this is a special occasion. It's obvious that Manga Entertainment did a direct transfer from its early VHS copy to DVD, because we keep seeing scenes from the next episode along with their respective VHS release dates chiming in. The amateur hour continues into the credits, where they were either so lazy, inept, or both, they couldn't be bothered to overlay the English credits over the original Japanese credits. They just squished the original video at the top and have a text crawl on the bottom. And what's more, the ending song is just laughably awful. True fact. It's been scientifically proven that this song is the longest 2.5 minutes in existence. We cut to Angel at the scene of the crash, where it magically shifts from day to night. Apparently, in the interim between when she chased after the terrorists and getting back to Adam Carolla, some mysterious party has cleaned up the site and taken Adam with them.
Anyway, I want you back at the office.
Should I take some fingerprints?
Since when were you trained to do that? Just get your ass back here before you fuck the scene up.
Yeah, you weren't trained to do police work. I mean, who do you think you are, a cop? It turns out that the terrorist who planned the hijacking and avoided being killed with the rest of the members in the van is pulling off another attack. This time setting off an underground bomb that would sever the city's power lines, effectively paralyzing it. He's so focused on the task at hand that he doesn't even realize that he's speaking in broken English.
And while they're busy sorting out this mess, we'll pull off a real spectacular.
We'll pull off a real spectacular. It's like the dub actors reading from the directly translated subtitles. The ineptitude here is staggering. But their plans come to a grinding halt when one of Bitch Tits' comrades busts in and holy crap! Oh jeez. This guy looks like he fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on his way down. Didn't think it was possible to stuff a corpse full of beef jerky and have it fight terrorism, but apparently I've been living a lie. This guy's character design is absolutely baffling. It's like a slightly toned-down Rob Liefeld character come to life. Hell, he even has Youngblood's disease. I bet if he opened his fucking eyes, he would have seen that one of the terrorist accomplices is trying to get Ghost. Thankfully, Bitch Tits' other comrade, who kind of reminds me of Annie Potts, circa Ghostbusters, is there waiting for him.
I won't tell you anything.
Oh, don't worry. He'll talk eventually. Everybody does.
He's resisting the effects of the truth drug. He has a great deal of willpower.
You see, it doesn't matter what you do to me. There's nothing that can break my will. It doesn't matter what crap you inject me with. I can resist anything you can throw at me.
What are you doing? You don't punch a prisoner in the shoulder. What's that gonna do? Ruin his golf swing? And truth serum. What, do you also ride your bike with training wheels? You need to have an imagination when you're torturing someone for information.
Everyone has a pain threshold, and I'll admit yours is high, but everyone has their limits. And now we're gonna find yours. It's up to you. Either tell us everything or discover the true meaning of the word suffering.
Better. C for effort. Oh man, been there. The first few weeks are always the best. Your victim's screams of unimaginable anguish and torturous pain are like a bakery fresh cookie of misery. But then the thrill turns mundane and nothing's the same anymore. Hell, I can't even get it up like I used to when I'm sawing into someone's leg. I mean, sure, when I'm splitting a taint open with an axe, I can get all hot and bothered. But that used to be reserved for only special occasions. Now, I just do it to get me half chub. C'est la vie. We catch up with Brian May from earlier as he meets up with his two accomplices, Hermione Granger and Brigitte Nielsen. And for some reason, the three of them decided to meet up in the back of a rock club playing the most awesomely dated music I've ever heard. Hell, this was dated at the time of its release. This was released in Japan somewhere in the early 90s, where I guess they didn't get the memo that hair metal was going down in flames. In all honesty, the band here should sound like this. The three decide it's time to get into action and target the remaining members of the terrorist group. They're apparently so adept at slaughtering them that the few members left are contemplating turning themselves in to the police, but they choose instead to hold themselves up in a building?
Remember, the Red May's finished, so if the police do get through, give yourself up immediately. There's no point in getting yourself killed for nothing.
Asshole, if your terrorist organization is through, and you don't want the rest of your followers to get hurt, why don't you give yourselves up right now? I guarantee you that the cops will not be so keen to go easy on you after wading through your booby traps and gunfire. Jerky Man and his team make their way through the lower half of the building before coming across two terrorists. After one of them is dispatched, the other gives himself up, but right on cue, Hermione Granger pulls a Kool-Aid Man and busts through the wall. Yeah, the show never really explains how Brian, Hermione, and Brigitte are able to do crap like this. It just kind of waves a hand and says that they have psychic powers. Though, I guess I don't want to know how Hermione's able to do this.
Keep away from me, please keep away! My quarrel's not with you, I wish you no harm. But you are guilty and must die!
I'm searching for the perfect word to say here, but I think the show just one-upped me.
There's a vigilante. Now, I know it sounds crazy, I hardly believe it myself, but she looks about 13 years old, and it looked like she was in the middle of a ball of flames without burning. She just killed a terrorist in front of us.
This is fucking crazy!
Meanwhile, Bitch Tits manages to bust in and take out the rest of the terrorists, but one tries to make her back off by pointing a gun at a child. You might be asking yourself where in the hell did he get that kid, but not to worry, the show makes sure that little plot hole is plugged up tight.
Where did you get that kid?
Off the street on the way here. Now listen.
You know, as tacked on and messy as that throwaway explanation was, you gotta at least applaud them for the effort. Bitch Tits doesn't play the terrorist game, though, and decides to fire upon the terrorist anyways. But her bullets are stopped cold by Brian May, who in turn forces the terrorist to shoot himself. Apparently, Bitch Tits wanted to splatter the guy's brains herself, so she pulls a knife on Brian May.
Tell me why you're killing these terrorists!
You kill them too, don't you?
Yes, but it's my job to kill them!
Wow. a kill-crazy bitch who doesn't mind shooting a child to kill her man, and a hypocrite who hides behind her badge. I don't think they properly invented a word to describe the level of bitchiness we're working with here. Oh wait, they have! Cunt! Before Brian May could bust out a Brighton Rock solo, a masked intruder barges in and attempts to apprehend him. Despite all the psychic punishment he throws at him, the guy just shirks it off, forcing Brian May to retreat with Hermione. Because she can't go 1 minute without threatening someone's life, Bitch Tits demands to know who the guy is, revealing himself to be a cybernetically enhanced Adam Carolla. It just hit me. Psychics, cyborgs, communist terrorists. This show is fucking weird. Adam Carolla makes a break for it and manages to lose Bitch Tits on his motorcycle. Meanwhile, the terrorist leader is still being tortured by Alec Baldwin, to the point where his arm has actually rotted and is now infested with maggots. But it's only when they finally tell him that the terrorist group is folded does he finally break.
Who are they? And why are they systematically killing your friends? If you don't tell us, we can't guarantee your safety. Understand?
They're called hunters!
I have to think about this for a moment. Play that part again.
They're called hunters!
Yup, that is the 5th worst line of this entire show. And what's more, the 4th worst line happens only minutes after.
The people who are sponsoring the Red May are only the tip of the iceberg. Everyone wants to see Japan fall. Believe me. You guys are just pissing in the wind.
No, we're pissing all over you!
Bitch Tits manages to track Adam Carolla back to an abandoned warehouse, but she's ambushed and knocked out. She wakes up at an unknown location where it's revealed that Adam Carolla was the product of this scientist's attempts to make enhanced agents to protect the country from terrorists. However patriotic the intent, though, it's hard to sell yourself as the good guy if you laugh for no reason other than to brag about your scientific prowess.
Raiden!
Of course you witnessed his performance. He exceeded all my expectations.
Man, I would never guess that Peter Cushing could be so full of himself. He was the guy who played Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars. We see Alec Baldwin report to his superior over the terrorist ringleaders spilling the beans, and how he thinks that they were acting under the sponsorship of another entity. He's told to lay off the case, which causes Alec to think that there's more going on here than what's being let on. He leaves a cigarette in his superior's office, which is actually a bug, and records a conversation that he has with some other suit, stating that Alec and his agents are getting too nosy and may become a problem. The plot reaches a fever pitch, though, when it's revealed that a Japanese corporate sponsor has his hands in these dirty dealings. And who could be behind these attacks and funding the terrorists?
As far as I can make out, the Toa Electric Company has a vast stock of unprocessed nuclear waste which it needs to get rid of, and rather than go to the expense of disposing of it properly, they intend to dump it in Hokkaido.
That'd make the place uninhabitable. Why would a Japanese state company like Toa Electric do a thing like that?
Ah, well, it turns out Toa Electric's not as Japanese as you may think. Although a state company, it's in actual fact 75% owned by Americans.
Americans?
That's right! The Jews! I sense some confusion. Yes, the characters say they're American, and yes, it confirms that in the subtitled version, but if you put the show on the Japanese language track, you'll find out that the real perps are the Jews who have taken over most of America. Of course, this uncomfortably anti-Semitic plot point was washed out during the localization, but it remains there in the original audio. Normally, I don't talk about behind-the-scenes stuff like this in these videos, since this kind of information wasn't common knowledge at the time, but to look over this elephant in the room without addressing it would be cowardly. Angel Cop was written by Sho Aikawa, who some of you may know also wrote Legend of the Overfiend and Full Metal Alchemist. Kinda casts that whole Hitler subplot in Conqueror of Shambhala in a whole new light, doesn't it? It turns out that several of Japan's politicians have sold out to the to allow the dumping of nuclear waste off the coast of Hokkaido. How does this correlate to the bombing of the U.S. Embassy at the beginning? I don't know! I'm still stuck on the whole Jew thing. Anticipating an attack from the government over finding out about their dealings with the team manages to take out a surprise attack by the Japanese SWAT, who are for some reason led by what looks like a Swedish bodybuilder. After thoroughly pantsing them, Jerky Man, Annie Potts, and this guy who's so boring he doesn't even deserve a nickname, agree to go their separate ways until the heat dies down. So ends the first part of our look at the infamous Angel Cop. And if you've been wondering what in the hell you just watched, take comfort in the fact that it's only going to get worse from here. Till next time.